Toastmaster Bong, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay. You can do the honors of explaining the next speaker and her project.
All right. So this is a prepared speech project number 4, presentation mastery and learning. Hold on. Let me move this. Level 1. Project is evaluation and feedback, the second speech. The objective is the application of feedback from a first speech. Time allotted for the speech is 5 to 7 minutes. The title is Limits and Boundaries. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a warm round of applause for our speaker, Toastmaster Grace Garcera.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Do you believe that there is a little God in each one of us? For we are created in the image and likeness of God, destined for greatness, to shine for His glory. It is just heartbreaking to see that there are those who choose to live a life of mediocrity. Long time ago, I heard my father and uncle speaking. Oh, I didn't have any intention of eavesdropping. It's just that I was standing and I can hear them speaking. Like it was only yesterday when I heard my uncle say, I cannot help you. You will be needing more influential connections if you want to level up your daughter's education. That is an exclusive school for academic achievers. But your daughter is average. To be honest, I don't think Grace is smart enough to be in. Instead, why don't you send her to the factory where I'm working? She have better chances there. In my father's silence, I felt his heart crushed. For one thing for sure, he wouldn't want anyone of his children to just go with the flow. Because my father is a dreamer. He dreamt of becoming a mechanical engineer. You'll be amazed with his skills. Well, he can actually dismantle a huge machine with rusty little pieces, hundreds of bolts and nuts, and put them back together. Make it work good as new. And I call that talent. Do you agree? Well, if you do, can you give my dad a thumbs up, please? I see a thumbs up for my daddy. Thank you very much for the encouragement. I'm just so proud of my dada. I call him Dada, by the way. I'm so proud of him. You know why? Because he's the only one from his side of the family to attain the highest educational attainment. My father is a high school graduate, but he managed to put his passion into action as he took on part-time jobs as a diesel mechanic. And eventually, he became a jeepney driver. Yes, a jeepney driver. And as a daughter, I couldn't be any prouder. For I've always admired my father for his strength of character. And his side of the family, going to school is not part of the priority. A child's future is just choosing between marrying early or working your lifetime in a factory. That is our family history. But my father, he wanted differently. He wanted so bad to study. He worked for relatives just to go to school. And I remember he was telling me there were times that he felt that he was treated more like a helper than a relative or a brother. Fortunately, there was this teacher who noticed his diligence and helped him to study for free as a janitor. Going back to the conversation between my father and my uncle, after hearing them, as I was speaking, I saw my father was so down, and I just can't stand it. I feel so bad. I can't do anything about it. I felt like I'm good for nothing. So just send me off to the factory. But no, I had to think out of the box. The following day, I decided to go straight to the school directress. In the registrar office, I asked, how can I get into this school? How can I be accepted? And then the directress said, oh dear, you're all by yourself? You came here? Just take the exam. If you pass, just pay and you're good to go. That's what the directress said. And to cut the long story short, I passed and I went home to my father and he couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe I managed on my own without the influential connection. And then, you know what happened next? My father smiled. And it was the most beautiful sight for me. It was the beginning of a life-changing journey for me and my family. My 3 siblings and I finished our college degree. We have an engineer. My other siblings are business owners. I became a professional host, founder and CEO of my own company, president of the Laguna Events Association of Professionals. I also am a small business owner. My friends, this Toastmaster is a proud daughter of a jeepney driver. Because through my parents' perseverance, we are free. We are free to be what we ought to be. My fellow Toastmasters and guests, do you want to know what's my greatest achievement in this life? It isn't my degree, nor the money or the popularity. My greatest joy has always been to keep my parents happy. Everything else is just bonus from the Lord. And if there's anything I have learned in this experience, In order to break away from our limits and boundaries, we need to flex. Flex our faith muscles. F stands for find your why. You are in this. L, live your purpose and make excellence as the norm. Don't ever allow anyone to make you feel you are good for nothing, because you have the power to be anything. Remember, God lives in you. So please, my fellow Toastmasters and guests, please don't live a life of mediocrity. In every opportunity, shine. Shine for God's glory. Thank you for your attention, fellow Toastmasters. God bless you.
Whew. Thank you, Toastmaster guys. That was the first time for me to experience that kind of a speech in a prepared speech session, and thank you for that emotional and moving delivery.
And for that, I'd like to propose a toast. Cheers. Thank you, guys.
Cheers. Okay. Yeah. All right.
And guests, and good evening, Grace. Passion, power, and poise. Those are just the three top words that I've been thinking about after I heard that incredibly powerful speech. I think we're all in agreement that it was very moving, very touching, judging by the silence of each and every member after Grace delivered her speech. I mean, that was wow. That was a breath of fresh air. That was an inspiration. And we all love hearing stories like that. If I could compare it to an engine, it would be a diesel engine, starting very timidly, very slow, but the power and the command, you can feel that it's there. And as the speech wore on, you could actually the power is really palpable. What I loved about your delivery is how you looked straight into the camera. Your facial expressions, your vocal variety are all on point. There was points that you highlighted, and the vocal variety and the delivery was also already there. So that was actually very commendable. Coming from a family of jeepney drivers myself, I could relate to your story. And I could relate for the good for nothing uncle, because I had an uncle just like that also. And I'm glad that he's out of my life right now. But the memories of the downing and the discouragement were all were flooding back to me when I heard your speech. Fortunately, you overcame them. And now you're a CEO of your own business. And soon, mark my words, you will be a professional inspirational speaker for the days to come. Mark my words, you heard it here first. Maybe you've heard it in other clubs, but I'll be stating it right now here in our joint meetings. Points for improvement for your speech. I felt that the speech has many messages. Maybe you could narrow it down to one or two, or maybe just one, so that the point will be solid. The point that you overcame your uncle's discouragement for your hopes and dreams and your ambitions. The fact that coming from meager sources, coming from a father who is a jeepney driver, you overcame it. As I was listening to your speech, I I remembered this movie. I don't know if you've seen The Shawshank Redemption. It is a story of victory. And the climax of that movie was there was the thunder and lightning and rain. And it was happening while you were delivering the climax of your speech also right outside my window. So I got chills up and down my spine while listening to it. That was really, really powerful. I suggest that you deliver that to a different audience and see out their reaction. I'm sure there'd be stunned silence afterwards as well, and they would also be digesting the wonderful story that you delivered and the incredible message that you would be imparting to all of us. Thank you, Toastmaster Grace, and I'm looking forward to hearing more of those inspirational stories of yours. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, TM Bob.
Wow.